Welcome the Born on This Day channel, where we explore fascinating lives of individuals born on this day. Today we'll look at John Milton, who was born in London on December 9, 1608, and is one of the most significant personalities in English literature. His legacy has lasted centuries, and he is known for his innovative work. John Milton was born into a wealthy family. His father, John Milton Sr., was a composer, and his mother, Sarah Jeffrey, was a highly educated woman. Milton's early years were influenced by his parents' values of education and intellectual curiosity. He was a clever boy who quickly developed his skills in poetry and language. When John Milton was 16, he enrolled at Christ's College in Cambridge. At Cambridge, Milton excelled in classical languages such as Latin and Greek. During his stay at university, he began writing poetry, influenced by both classical and Renaissance authors. His scholastic aptitude gained him a reputation as one of the most gifted pupils of his generation. In the 1630s, John Milton began to develop his literary voice. He wrote poetry like On the Morning of Christ's Nativity and L'Allegro, which show his versatility in both religious and pastoral topics. These early works demonstrated Milton's command of language and ability to combine classical ideas with Christian devotion. After finishing his studies in 1632, John Milton returned to England. He spent the following few years writing and traveling, delving into literature and philosophy. During this time, Milton also began to form political opinions that would eventually affect his writing, particularly his pamphlets and epic poetry. John Milton married Mary Powell in 1642, however the marriage did not last very long. Shortly after their marriage, the couple separated. This personal struggle had a profound impact on Milton, and his sentiments about marriage and love became important topics in several of his later works. His personal life would continue to affect his writing, particularly his perspectives on freedom and liberty. John Milton was deeply engaged in the political climate of his time. He was an ardent supporter of the English Commonwealth and sided with the parliamentarians during the English Civil War. Milton's political writings, particularly Areopagitica, pushed for press freedom and the value of free speech, cementing his place in political thinking. John Milton became blind in the 1650s, which was a huge personal loss for him. Despite this, he continued to write and dictated his work to subordinates. Milton's eyesight did not limit his inventiveness, rather, it stimulated his ambition to investigate deeper philosophical and theological issues in his later works. In the late 1660s, John Milton finished Paradise Lost, an epic poem that cemented his reputation as one of the finest writers in English literature. The poem, which delves into the biblical tale of the fall of man, was originally published in 10 books. It brought together Milton's extensive knowledge of classical literature with his theological and philosophical ideas. Paradise Lost delves on topics of free will, temptation, and redemption. Satan is portrayed as a sad figure, rejecting God and defying divine power. One of the most debated features of John Milton's poem is his portrayal of Satan as a nuanced and approachable creature. When Paradise Lost first appeared in 1667, it got mixed reviews, but its influence on writing was tremendous. The epic poem established a new type of English poetry and contributed to Milton's reputation as a literary giant. Paradise Lost has long been regarded as one of the most important works in English literature. In 1671, John Milton wrote Paradise Regained, the sequel to Paradise Lost. This book focused on Christ's temptation, emphasizing analogies between humanity's fall and Christ's triumph over temptation. While not as well received as its predecessor, Paradise Regained remains an important work in Milton's literary legacy. Also in 1671, John Milton wrote Samson Agonistes, a tragic drama based on Samson's biblical narrative. The drama depicts Milton's personal battles with religion and belief in divine justice. Like most of Milton's later writing, Samson Agonistes explores themes of power, suffering, and redemption. John Milton's effect as a poet was far-reaching. His works inspired other writers, including William Blake and T.S. Eliot, and continue to influence literary criticism today. Paradise Lost alone has affected genres ranging from epic poetry to modern science fiction, firmly establishing Milton's place in the literary canon. John Milton's political and theological beliefs also had an indelible impression. His argument of free speech and liberty in Areopagitica had a significant impact on modern political thought, while his theological studies in Paradise Lost influenced Christian philosophy for years. Milton's support for individual liberties is relevant today. Although John Milton died on November 8, 1674, his work is still considered a cornerstone of English literature. Despite his intellectual and emotional struggles, his great works paved the way for history, and his legacy continues to inspire, challenge, and influence literature, politics, and philosophy. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more stories about remarkable personalities born on this day.